ball of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Pod at the Palace post-game live reaction show presented by SARACEN, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. I'm Curtis Wilkerson, joined by John Nabors today to talk about Arkansas basketball's 93-90 overtime win over Ole Miss in the semifinals of the SEC tournament in Nashville. Hey, the Cinderella Slayers, they strike again. 2 days in a row, Arkansas has done this. Nothing comes easy for this Razorback team. Like, we know the drill at this point. They are hell-bent on just not getting out of their own way. No reason this game goes to overtime, but it did. You get in there, you're not playing defense, couldn't get a stop, missing free throw after free throw after free throw, but you won the game. Lucky? Maybe. Fortunate? Definitely. Somewhat infuriating? Yes, of course. But at this stage of the season, man, you just have to find a way. You know, like, this is tournament play. These games are going to be grinders. At the end of the day, when all the dust is settled, no matter how we felt for the last 2.5 hours, Arkansas outlasted another team playing with its season on the line. I'm still not sure they played particularly well in Nashville, but dang it, they just did what Texas and Georgia and Alabama couldn't. And they've got a date in the SEC tournament title game tomorrow. John, what do you make of whatever just happened?
Never a doubt, right? Never a doubt. Curtis, like, it reminds me of the Razorback football season. You remember how we always talked about they do just enough to lose? That's how I feel about this Razorback basketball team. They do just enough to win, which is, again, the end all be all is all about winning. It's all about, getting the dub, especially at this time of year. Doesn't matter. But it's like they're going to make it as humanly difficult as possible on themselves, whether it's not making free throws when they've been great at free throws all game long, whether it's just letting guys blow by across the court to send it to overtime. It doesn't matter. They win. That's all that matters, and we're happy for that. But good grief, there is no such thing as relaxing or being comfortable with this team. They will make it as difficult as possible on everyone's heart rate. But they came up with the win, and that's really all that matters in the end.
That is absolutely all that matters in the end. Man, what a wild game down there. First of all, credit to Ole Miss, right? Like, those dudes they were bad all season long. They found something in the SEC tournament here in Nashville, and they were playing like a completely different team. And you wondered if maybe they would just kind of revert back to the mean a little bit of what they had been the entire season, but they didn't. That was the same team that just beat Texas and Georgia and Alabama 3 straight days. And they came out there, and I felt like there was a good handful of times where Arkansas was about to just bury them. Like they get the lead out to 7, 8, 9 points, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be the final push, finally getting in those dudes' legs, it's over with. But then they would hit shot after shot. Arkansas would just Ole defense, man, like a matador, just go right ahead. And giving up layups in there uncontested and the missed free throws and everything. But Ole Miss didn't quit. So they deserve a lot of credit there. Arkansas deserves credit for getting this done and getting out of there with a win. But some of that was pretty surprising to me, man. Like, it looked like Arkansas maybe was the team that was completely wore down and out of gas. They were on their second game, not their fourth. But they kept saying over and over and over, the Razorbacks are playing with 7 players. You're looking over there, and Billy Richmond's like getting, the massage gun, and looks like he's going into full body cramps and everything. Guys are up there short on their free throws. That was a wild game, but that's what it's going to be like in March. And I know a lot of people right away, John, are going to be like, well, guys, it's probably not a good omen for tomorrow. I would guess tomorrow is going to look a lot like these last 2 days have. And you got to remember that Vanderbilt, they just played Tennessee and Florida. So it's not like they're going to be fresh either. A lot of times the championship game is the worst basketball that's played at these tournaments. And Arkansas's got a chance to get a little bit of hardware, man. So we'll take it. I just wish they wouldn't have played with their food so much for the sake of my own blood pressure.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. I just wish that it's like, you are the better team. You have the better players. And, like you said, give credit to Ole Miss, give credit to Chris Beard for putting it all together and at least making a run at it. But it's like, at some point in time, you just have to assert yourself as being like, all right, we're the better team. Let's just stop this nonsense and let's get after it. And you played a game that went late last night. So, but here's the deal. It's not an excuse because, as you mentioned, Ole Miss has played a bunch of games in a row. You had 2 games in less than 24 hours because, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday's game started at what, 7 or was it 8:30, something like that?
It was almost 9.
Yeah, almost 9. So you're talking about playing 2 full games in a matter of 18 hours. So, but it's not an excuse. You got to be able to take care of business. And it's just, they looked like a team that, for whatever reason, if one thing's good one game, the other thing goes awry the next game. Like Malik Thomas was nowhere to be found in last game, but in this game, he played really well. You had some opportunities where you got a lot of offensive rebounds, for instance. Like, you got a ton of those. It's like you did some things good, but it's just the simple things where you're letting guys blow right by you, like was mentioned. You let the guy that literally is only going to ever shoot threes. It's like you're like afraid of he'll drive on you. He's not going to drive on you. So it's just the frustrating things that go along with that. Again, you're never going to apologize for a win, especially in postseason play. And you get to play for an SEC tournament title tomorrow. And that's something that I think we'd all sign up for. But it's just, I'm never going to go into any game feeling good. I'm never going to feel comfortable about any leads. There's just nothing about this team that makes me just feel happy. And I don't think it's going to change anything tomorrow. But again, they got the win. They figured it out. They messed around too much. I just wish they would have had that killer instinct of stepping on the throat and finishing off a team.
Yeah, they scare the heck out of me, man. And look, they're 25-8, on the season, and they are one of the last 2 teams standing in this tournament. But it's like, man, you're gonna give me a stroke before it's all said and done. I can only take so much of this. It's really hard, John, when you have an opponent who is playing like there's no tomorrow unless they beat you, but that no matter what, you're playing next week. And like to be able to match that sense of urgency is really difficult. And it took Arkansas a while to be able to do that last night, 16 hours ago or whatever. And they eventually did it and they won that game. And then it was the same thing here. I feel like some of the things that happen in a typical game, an opponent might fold. But for Ole Miss, it's like, okay, we've got 5 minutes of overtime left. This is the last 5 minutes of our season if we don't win this game. So we're going to go 110%. Like you really dig deep in those situations. And Arkansas had to turn around and do the exact same thing there, which is crazy. But you mentioned it like yesterday. If I'm looking for encouraging things besides the win, obviously, but like what am I discouraged by? Arkansas's defense. It was a major problem in this game. What am I encouraged by? Darius Acuff carried you yesterday, and he had a very much an off game. Now it's always funny when we do this, and he has 24 points and however many assists he wound up with, but wasn't on his A game. And guys who kind of struggled yesterday really stepped up. Like Malik Thomas was 2 of 10 yesterday. He goes for 29 points in this game. He hits 4 threes. He was clutch. Now he missed an important free throw in there for sure. What did Trevin Brazil end with besides a bunch of missed free throws at the end? 16 and 10. So that's back-to-back double doubles that you get out of him. Malik Ewan, 14 points, 13 rebounds, a big double out of him. So you had guys who struggled yesterday who stepped up when your ace didn't have his best stuff, if you will, to borrow a baseball term there. And so from that, I'm encouraged. I don't know what this is going to look like tomorrow, but for that, I am encouraged.
Yeah, well, I always like playing the game of, hey, if I told you this before the game, what would you think? And it's like, if I told you, Curtis, that before the game against Ole Miss, that your 2 freshmen were going to go for 29 and 24, and 2 of your big men, Malik Ewan and Trevin Brazil, were going to get double doubles, and you're going to have less than 10 turnovers.
We've been begging for this.
Yeah, you're like, Arkansas runs away with this game. But that's the whole point that like we've been making. It's like you do, and you look at the box score, and you're like, that's incredible. We love seeing the bigs get 2 bigs get double doubles. We love seeing the freshmen go for 24 and 29 points. Like that's what you want, but you probably would have never guessed that this game went to overtime and you nearly lost the game a couple of times. Like you just would have never guessed that. But that's what this team is that they do so many, like the things they're really good at, they're really good at. And the things that they're bad at is just bad. I mean, Ole Miss, again, give them credit because Oklahoma and Ole Miss, desperate teams. They're going to give the best shot that they're going to give you ever. You got to give them credit, but Ole Miss should not have scored 90 points on you. They just shouldn't have, but they did. So it's just, even when you have great performances and great statistics and great box scores, the game still was in doubt at the end. And that's what makes it so frustratingly beautiful to watch this team play and win games.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool, man, because, if you think about the wins here, it's like, Arkansas has just kind of ruined the party for a couple of these really cool stories here. So It's almost like Arkansas is the glass slipper, and Oklahoma and Ole Miss are just like the fat feet that couldn't fit in it. Like, hey, not quite. This ain't for you. This Cinderella thing. Sorry. Come back. Go try a different ball. Like maybe that's the NIT or something. But,
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I saw a bunch of people on Twitter, and it's like people from other fan bases or whatever that were like, this is going to be the most fraudulent SEC tournament title run in history that Arkansas is getting here. Hey, don't blame us for that. Don't blame the Razorbacks for that. We just play who's in front of us, man. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, be mad at Texas and Georgia and Alabama for not being able to figure it out. Be mad at Texas A&M. Arkansas is the team, despite the madness of these last 2 nights, that is restoring order in the SEC by taking care of business in their little pot of the bracket here. The only reason they got an 11 seed and a 15 seed and then now a 4 in the title game is because everybody else didn't take care of their business. Arkansas is the highest seed remaining here.
Yeah, well, it's like I always feel, to quote the great T.I., let the losers worry about losing. And that's how I feel when anytime someone's like, fraudulent. Terms like, yeah, because you lost and your team's not in it. Like, that's why you're saying it's fraudulent. People, when the Dodgers won the World Series down there in Arlington, they're like, Mickey Mouse World. Why? Because your team didn't win it. It's like they still get the ring. They still get the championship. And guess what? If anybody ever references, if Arkansas is able to take care of business tomorrow, which is a big if, they're able to take care of business tomorrow against Vanderbilt and they win this SEC title. You know what people are going to say 10 years away? Like, who won the SEC tournament title 10 years ago? Oh, Arkansas did. Well, yeah, but that was a fraudulent thing because they beat Vanderbilt. It's like no one's going to give a rip about any of that. Remember when Ole Miss and Marshall Henderson won it in the SEC tournament title? Was that fraudulent? No, it wasn't fraudulent. You played the teams in front of you. Who cares who you beat? If you didn't want it to be fraudulent, those teams should have won. Florida should have won. You should have had whoever take Alabama take care of business, but they didn't. So yeah, I'm not going to apologize for it. And the only people that ever say that stuff are the teams like either Kentucky fans or Bama fans or whatever. They're just losers that are sitting at home while Arkansas is going to play in the tournament title tomorrow.
Who's the MVP of this game? Is it Malik Thomas or is it Malik Ewan?
See, that's what's crazy. It's a great question because it's like I wanted to give it to Malik Thomas, and I think that it's probably, but then it's like, golly, dude, you missed that final free throw. That sucked. And but
one
it's
of the
not
few
fair.
shots he missed in the whole game. Exactly. Yeah. It's like,
yes. Like people are like, oh man, these guys can't. Literally, Malik Thomas went 7 of 7 from the free throw line, but that 8th one is what he missed and happened to be the clutch one. So it's like that's the frustrating thing. But I mean, 29 points, 9 of 15 from the field. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. That was great. But the thing is, same with Brazil, because Brazil, you mentioned 16 to 10. He didn't have a single turnover. He had 2 steals, a block shot, an assist, 7 to 12 from the field, but he missed those free throws down the stretch. So it's kind of like you can't, if you're not using the lasting impression you had, I think it's Malik Thomas. But I mean, again, you had some good play for the most part for most of these guys in this game.
Yeah, I see old Greg in the chat just said, he said, just say Malik and you can give it to both of them. That might be what I wind up doing there. Acuff, for again, like credit to Ole Miss for the way they defended him, which they were throwing bodies at that man like a heat-seeking missile out there like that. He was taking contact and was getting held, every possession, getting bumped on screens and everything. They were super, super physical with him. And good Lord, if you had your volume up, you heard Jimmy Dykes a million times. Those are the Acuff rules and they're non-negotiable. Shut up. Gosh, he gets on my nerves, man. But yes, they had those things. They made life difficult on him and probably a little bit of fatigue. I mean, he sat out for a while. And so in a way you think, okay, well, he should be refreshed. Well, if you're not doing your conditioning, you can lose it really quick. So I thought maybe he looked a little bit tired, but it's wild, man. 7 of 21, that's obviously not very efficient at all. There were some good things, the 24 points. He was better in winning time. He started to get it going and made some key plays down the stretch. But then he had a missed free throw also. The 7 assists is an awesome number. 5 turnovers. You mentioned it. Is that a season high? Probably for Acuff. And a couple of them came really early in there when the Cameradine dude was just attacking his right hand and picking his pocket a little bit. So I was a little bit worried about what that was going to look like. And then Malik Thomas went into demon mode. I mean, he looked like the Missouri version of himself out there, which was awesome. There's no play that encapsulates the Malik Thomas experience more than the one where he basically Arkansas was on like a 3-on-2 fast break. He keeps it, gets it stolen from him. He gets it right back and then just like dribbles out to the 3-point line and makes a fall away 3. And it's like, hey,
sure.
that we'll take it, man. I love it. But it was good to see him step up in a moment there, because you might need that in March. Who knows? Like Arkansas might play in the round of 64 and Acuff goes crazy. And then a couple days later, he's off of his game a little bit, and it's do or die mode. You got to have somebody step up. I feel better about, Arkansas's ability to be able to handle that with what Leak was able to do today.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, with Arkansas and being in postseason play and knowing it's not the NCAA tournament, it's the SEC tournament. But it's like when you have games like this, it's like, we can sit here and we can talk about things that obviously did not go right, which was true. But also you can look at the things like, well, what brought you to this point is you were able to overcome some things. I'm sure we'll talk about the call at the end of the first half when they got 3 free throws was one of the most egregious things I've ever seen in my life.
Man.
And it pissed me off more than anything, because not only was it awful, and you've never seen that call in the history of basketball, but it just, in my gut feeling, I'm like, that thing's going to play a part in this game. Like, that is going to, and it sure did. And so those are the types of things, which I'm not saying the officials cost Arkansas the game or whatever. I'm just saying, in these games and in these moments in March and whatnot, the margin of error is small. You're going to have calls that don't go your way. You're going to have some crap, but the better teams are going to find ways to still come out on top. And that's what Arkansas did. Wasn't perfect. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't at all relaxing, but you won and you still get to fight for another day. And so that's where I'm like, I'm thrilled about that. It's just, man, it's one of those games that just really can frustrate you at sometimes, because it felt like it never should have been as close as what it was, but you still got the win at the end.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I first of all, I couldn't believe that they called that when they did. I couldn't believe that they went to the monitor and then still said, hey, we're going to give him 3 free throws, even though he clearly initiated his own contact with Pringle there. And we're going to say it was the act of shooting 50 feet from the basket. It's like, that was irritating enough. But after what had happened at the other end of the floor, where I think it was Billy and Ewan, like on back-to-back times there, just got rocked at the rim, and they kind of swallowed their whistle. And then they called that. I was like, oh, sheesh. That's rough there. So it had to wind up being a momentum shift that Arkansas had to overcome. So good on them for being able to do it. But yeah, that was wild, man. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. When's the last time Arkansas went to the SEC tournament title game?
I want to say it was with Mike Anderson, and that year they lost to Kentucky with Daryl Macon and all them. I'd have to double check, but yeah, it's been close to a decade though. I know it's
the last time Cal went to one, because I know we kept seeing the stuff from Big Blue Nation about they hadn't made the weekend since 2019. I can't remember when the last time was that they won one. So this is rare air here for Cal and the Razorbacks. You might as well just go win the whole damn thing now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's let's see, because I believe it was it was 2016. 2017, I believe, is when Arkansas last played in it, according to the Googles. Doesn't mean it's always true, but still, it's been quite a bit. And we know Arkansas's record hasn't been great in those tournament title championships, really, in any sport. But at least you're in it, and at least you're in a good spot. And this is one of the few times that you're actually going to go into it as the favorite, I would assume. I mean, I know Vanderbilt's good, but most of the time. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that Georgia one in 08 that you lost to Cindy Gaines, and the Tornado one, like when they were 4-12, maybe you were favored in that one. But I know of all the SEC tournament title games, you have always been the massive underdog here. This is probably going to be the first one you're actually favored in. Yeah,
I'm wondering. I bet it's going to be pretty close to a pick'em. Like those, man, the tunes, like they're right beside each other on like on KenPom and everything like that. We'll probably know by the end of this show, at least with the like the KenPom line and everything is. Hell, Vegas might have it out pretty quick. I'd maybe Arkansas like a short favorite, 1.5 or something. I wonder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it would, if it's above 3 in any direction, I'd be shocked. But yeah. I would say, yeah, probably around there is probably safe to say 1.5, maybe 2.5, something like that.
Yeah. Did you see Porter Mosier's gets to keep his job?
I did not see that, but good.
He gets to keep his job. Yeah, the AD, I guess, leaked that today. So shout out to Cal for the PR campaign for that. I don't think Chris Beard was on the hot seat either, but I did think it was interesting. There's like this coaching fraternity thing that's kind of going on here. Like Cal's championing Porter Mosier, and then Porter Mosier's like, wow, Darius Acuff might be the next Allen Iverson. But the reason I thought about that was because it's kind of crazy how, and obviously Acuff didn't have his best game today, but it's like Sean Miller from Texas saying what he said the other day. And then Porter Mosier saying what he said yesterday. And then Chris Beard right there on the broadcast before the start of the game was like, hey, I think that this guy is the #1 pick, and we're telling our team you have to attack this game as if that's the case. It's like, man, all these SEC coaches saying this. I can't remember another time where like the coaching fraternity has rallied so strongly. Definitely about a Razorback, but about anybody really. It's kind of cool. Like I don't like Cam Boozer's so good, and Darren Peterson's so good. And I know I don't follow those programs as much, but like I haven't been seeing, 3 Big 12 coaches being like, Darren Peterson is the best player who's ever graced the face of this earth. But they're saying it about Acuff, man.
Yeah, no, I love it too, because, it seems like there's certain coaches that, like get along, and there's certain coaches you like. I know it's funny to me that there's not really the same type of things being said about, Nate Oates or Todd Golden very often. I wonder why. But, there's definitely an element of like, I think I'm just spitballing here and throwing it out there, but I think that there's just such an element to where it's like with Cal, for instance, and Porter Mosier. It's like he looks at him, he's like, I know that guy. I know good coaching. He's a good coach. And it's just unfortunate circumstances of what went on this year. So, I think he's kind of like, hey, I like the guy. I respect the guy. And I'd want him to do the same for me if something was going on. So I think there's an element of that. But you just have a lot of good coaches in this league. I mean, the fact that Porter Mosier, they're probably going to miss out on the NCAA tournament, but yet he's such a good coach. It kind of just shows you the depth in the coaching of this league, and why I'm never going to take it for granted for the job that Cal's doing. And of course, I just always forget the Vanderbilt coach's name, but look at what he's doing. Just a couple of years in, he's in the SEC title game, and he knocked off Florida. Now he knocked him off, beat the crap out of Florida today, which makes no sense. But I mean,
on him,
dude. I mean, you got great coaches, you got great players, it's a great league, but it's just nice for Arkansas to kind of, as you said, restore order and be in the top and being in the pecking order and being in the tournament championship again.
I like it. I like it a lot. And it's funny. And folks, we're going to get to your chats here in just a couple minutes, but we kind of did the thing all week where it was like how much does Cal care about the SEC tournament? How much do we care about the SEC tournament? Whatever. But we knew all along, once you get in it, you want to win. And and it doesn't matter who you're playing or what the circumstances are. It's like, I really wanted Arkansas to get another shot at Alabama. It didn't work out that way, but it didn't change how I felt about this Ole Miss game. Although, as we were at the end of regulation and in overtime, I was getting flashbacks to that kid who hit the buzzer beater on Arkansas last year. I was like, if this happens 2 years in a row, I'm going to crash out. So, hey, they were able to avoid that. They're already better than they were last year. But then now that they're in the title game, my thought process on that all along has been, you're going to be dog tired anyway. Like, you're playing this third game anyway. You might as well go crazy and mess around and win the thing. Let's cut down some nets. Let's get a little bit of hardware and take it back to Fayetteville. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I even felt today. I felt about it going into it, where I was so accepting of the fact, it's like, yeah, well, if Arkansas loses a game or two, he's fine, like, move on. And then it's like they end up beating Oklahoma, and you're like, okay, well, hey, listen, you got through it, and they're gonna play Ole Miss. They're not playing Bama. I would rather play Bama, but hey, Ole Miss, you could beat them. And then as soon as I saw that Vanderbilt kicked the crap out of Florida, now I'm like, I'm going to be pissed if this team does not win the SEC title. Like, that's how quickly it moved. Yeah, where it was just, I was accepting of, hey, just we're cool. If it lose, you lose, whatever. Now it's at the point where I'm like, if I'm going to be very upset if they do not win the SEC tournament title tomorrow. Not that it means anything. It doesn't mean a dadgum thing in the NCAA tournament. Like, everybody would trade going to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four over a tournament title in the conference all day, every day. So, like, we all know that. But it's like you said, while you're there, if you're there, you're playing Vanderbilt, a team that you already beat, a team that you probably should beat, or at least you feel good about you winning that game. Screw it. Go ahead and win it all, and at least get some hardware. While you're there, get some hardware in the 26-year drought that you're on of the conference tournament titles. Just go ahead and take care of business, because you're not going to get many of a better setup than what you have right now playing Vanderbilt in the title. That's nothing, no disrespect to them. But again, very few times you can play in the tournament title championship and be the favorite of the teams or be the better team. This is your opportunity. Don't screw around. Just go ahead and take care of business and win.
Yes, indeed. It is unhealthy how wound up I was during this game today. Like, I knew I cared, but man, oh man, I would have been down bad had they lost that game.
Yes, Curtis, I have breaking news. Okay. So this comes from Vegas. The early odds have been released. Vanderbilt is a 1.5 favorite.
Okay.
So, I mean, the point and a half is basically there, but point and a half, I bet you that'll move a little bit probably before tomorrow, but that's the early line.
Were they favored in Fayetteville at the time of that game? I feel like they might have been, like maybe by the same.
I was about to say, I think because of the way that they were playing too, and Arkansas, I think was coming off US. I think you're right. I think it was if not, it was a very close one to where it was like that too. So, and then Arkansas ended up beating Vanderbilt pretty handedly. But either way, you're not playing in Bud Walton Arena though. You're playing there in the hometown of the Commodores. So
you're telling me John Calipari gets a spotlight game and he gets to play the underdog role?
Play the hits.
That's a dangerous pig, folks. It's a dangerous pig. Hey, shout out to our partners over at the Fight House Gym. It's Northwest Arkansas's #1 boxing, MMA, and strength training gym built for athletes, competitors, and anyone ready to push their limits. From high-energy boxing and MMA training to free weights, elite cardio equipment, sleds, and cross-training, Fight House Gym delivers everything you need to train at the highest level. Push your body to the edge, then recover like a pro with our cold plunge and saunas designed to keep you strong and ready for more. I think the Razorbacks could probably use both of those things right now. Whether you're a seasoned fighter or just starting your fitness journey, this is the gym that meets you where you are and pushes you further. It's not just a gym, it's a mindset. Fight House Gym is now open at 10131 Webway in Fayetteville. It's exit 58 off I-49. Sign up today at fighthousegym.com or call 951-623-9745 and step inside and bring the fight. All right, let's get into the chats. See how everybody's doing.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. That was such an emotional roller coaster, man.
Yeah, well, it's like real quick. Do you know I want almost tweet the video, the Christmas Vacation, when he goes on that rant and he's just like, hallelujah, holy crap, where's the Tylenol? Like, that's how I feel about this game, man. It's just like, it's like, you love it, but man, I need a cigarette after that or something, man. It's crazy.
Goodness gracious. I know. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Let's see what we got here. Tuna's House says Cinder Rebel Killer took overtime, but I'll accept it even if we suck at defense. Yeah. I mean, I agree with all those things. And that is cool. And like, it shouldn't be lost on Arkansas getting to this point, and it shouldn't be. And we talked about, the people saying, well, it's a fraudulent run or whatever. No, it's not, man. Like it's honestly, in some cases, it is harder to play the games that Arkansas has played than to play against those teams who are already locked in for next week, no matter what. It's just, there's a different edge and tenacity that teams in Oklahoma and Ole Miss's situations have to play with. And you got to be able to dig deep and find that. Like, it's kind of like, some of the old locker room speeches, like, what motivates you? What gets you going? You got to find it in a game like this. And so Arkansas has been able to do it in a couple here. Wasn't necessarily pretty. The defensive stuff, last night I felt like if you went and looked at it, like, the stats, the box score, you would say, you know what, Arkansas actually, they did pretty good on defense, and they held them down from 3. They won the rebounding battle. Like there's a lot of things to look at from the stats and say that was pretty good. But if based on the eye test, there were some really long stretches there where you were thinking, I don't know how much better they got during that bye week. And in this game, and this is what I get a little bit irritated by this, because anytime you're just objectively talking about what happened during a game, it's not always perfect. I mean, this went to overtime. They had some breakdowns and some, missed clutch moments and everything. And everybody's like, it's so negative. It's so no, it's not. We're just talking about what happened. We're obviously very excited they won the game. But the defensive stuff, some of the, the straight line drive, like at the end of regulation with Store, like they inbound it. They've got 5 seconds. You don't turn him. You don't get in front of him. You don't stop ball, nothing. It's just like a straight, I'm almost doing pregame warm-up layup lines to the rim kind of deal. It's those little things where you're like, oh man, you're one stop away. It's like one stop, one score from, okay, instead of this game going to overtime, Arkansas is going to win by 13, and you don't get that. And it's just like those little things that you walk away wondering, is this what is this what's going to cost us in March? What's it going to be? The rebound that you don't get, and they start piling up on you in those moments. And so that was frustrating in there. Sometimes when Arkansas is locked in on defense, John, and they're really flying around out there, they create a lot of chaos, and they can test shots. They block a bunch of shots. They can turn you over and get out in transition. And it looks really, really good, but it hasn't been consistent enough. And then there are other times, and this is just true, man. And this is not breaking news, but there are times where it's just really, really easy for teams against Arkansas's defense. They've got one more game here to work on some stuff, and they've got a few days, but If you're going to really sustain and make the crazy type of run you would hope that you could with a guy like Darius Acuff, they've got to be able to tighten up some of that stuff. Not, full 40 minutes of being Houston out there on defense, but just enough to where you feel confident when you have to get a stop that you can go get it. And they're not quite there yet.
Exactly. And to your point about like, if people were talking about like the negativity or anything like that, I'm like, listen, if you watch that game in its entirety and there was not a single moment that made you mad and upset, you're a liar. And you know where liars go? Where they don't serve ice water. So like anybody is just like, it's so negative. Yeah, because I'm sure you were sitting there when you missed all those free throws at the end. You're just like, this is great. I love this. This is great basketball. Like, he tried really hard. Like, get out of here with that, man. Like, that doesn't exist. That's not a thing. So, but that's where it's like, you got to, that's what we do is like obviously break down the games and react to them and everything. But you mix the good with the bad, because this is what this game was. There was good and there was bad, and then you go through it all. But the best is when you win, and that's what you did. So as you can still look at it through that lens of, hey, this had frustrations. This shouldn't have been the way it was. This guy should have done this, but you still won. You still took care of business. You still got it done, and that's really how I feel about this game in general right now.
Yes, yeah, no doubt about it. I'm looking forward to doing this again tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be crazy. Wild. So I guess we'll have the games at noon, right? I think
yes.
tip. So we'll have a post-game show afterwards, get a sip of water, and then get ready for the selection show. It's going to be fun. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Don't forget spring practice, Curtis, the most important thing tomorrow.
I'll be honest with you. I did forget spring practice.
And everyone else. Yeah.
Is it second baseball game? Is it, are we rolling here? Do we know what that's looking like?
That's a great question. We pull up the score real quick. I
was following the first, but then.
Yeah, I saw fun tweets that the Arkansas Razorbacks official Twitter account was having for baseball. No, Arkansas's down 3-0.
Well, hell. Okay. Anyway, enough about that. Derek Tibbs, appreciate you, man. I like Derek. Derek is climbing up the power rankings of chatters. I've noticed over the last several weeks here. It's good. It's not lost on us where you're at here. He says, just make the free throw. Woo pig. My poor heart can't take it. Good Lord, cheese and rice. Golly gee. I said not safe for work versions of all those phrases backstage here with John before we went live. Yeah, just make them there. So Malik Thomas missed. He split the pair towards the end of regulation. Acuff split a pair. Trevin missed 3 of 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Who did anybody else get on that action late? Ewan or somebody? I can't remember. It was like there was a lot going on there with the missed free throws. And it's crazy because they go 23 of 31 for the game. That's not bad. I mean, 74.2%. It felt like a vast majority of those misses were at the end of regulation or in overtime. What is that? It's fatigue. Mm-hmm. It's fatigue. But chances are, if you're in a Sweet 16 against a 1 seed or whatever at the end of the game, you're going to be very fatigued. So they got to be able to step up there and knock those down. They've been a pretty good free throw shooting team on the season, but this is not the first time that they've been in situations like this where they've had some misses from guys who otherwise, usually make them there. It was scary. It almost cost them.
Yeah. I think at one point they were 18 of 21 from free throw line. So if that just kind of gives you an idea of what all went down, then yeah, that kind of proves it out to you. So, which by the way, real quick, Curtis, the press conference is up. So if you want to handle the chats, I will jump in, see what 100%. Cal. Sure, Cal had some bangers, and then I'll be back in here and we'll play some clips from old Cal after this one. So.
I like that. Sounds good. We'll see you in a minute. Okay. All right. So let's get back into the chat here and see what everybody's got going on. Hairless hog, a hog of his word. He says, if I had hair, yeah, me too. It would have just been pulled out after these last 2 games. Heart attack hogs. Yeah. Why don't they make anything easy for us? They just, it seems like now that we're in the postseason that they're hell bent on stressing everybody out. Now, if they do that and they win the game anyway, we'll deal with it. We might lose some lives along the way because people have actual heart attacks because of this stuff. And it might be me, honestly, but yeah, it's kind of weird because usually throughout the course of the season, when Arkansas has played teams like this, Ole Miss, obviously the only way they were going to make the postseason is if they won the whole thing. But like Oklahoma, for example, Arkansas has played a lot of these, bubble teams, or they're in the tournament, but they really need a win to be safe and locked and secured. and they've kind of been handling their business. Like the 2 Missouri games, obviously one of them went to overtime, but like A&M, they wound up winning that by 15. In Texas, they wound up winning that game by 20. Auburn at the time hell, they're still on the bubble. What am I talking about? But you beat them by 13 when they came to your place. So down the stretch of the season, we've had really close games, and then Arkansas has just kind of hit them with that flurry, put the foot down on the gas, put them away at the very end. And now, and we've mentioned 100 times, but I'll say it again, the intensity is just ratcheted up so much for these teams where it's like there is no tomorrow, so we got to give it all today. And it's been way too close for comfort. Now, some people will look at that and say, well, Oklahoma and Ole Miss, they're not that good, so Vanderbilt's going to run Arkansas out of the gym tomorrow. No, they won't. It's going to be the exact same type of game, is what I'm guessing, is that it's going to be a back and forth affair, and you'll think Arkansas might put it away, and then they'll allow a comeback, and you might think, oh, Vanderbilt's going to run away from this one, and then Arkansas cranks it up a notch and they get back in it. I'd imagine it's going to be back and forth and go down to the final couple minutes, if I had to guess right off the top. And I know, Arkansas obviously blew Vanderbilt's doors off when they played at Bud Walton Arena earlier in the season. I don't know that I anticipate that being the case again. Would I be shocked if it was? Not necessarily, but I imagine, you got 2 teams at this point. And again, I know it's not the end all be all for the SEC tournament, but when you're playing for the hardware, like when man, if we win this game, I get a piece of the net. Like we get to enjoy the confetti. That hits a little bit different. So I think it's going to be a blast, man. I'm looking forward to it. They're going to have more rest today than they did, or more rest tonight than they did last night, obviously. But both of these teams are going to be run on fumes. If you go watch any of these conference championship games, by the time you get to that point, it's just like missed shots, a bunch of free throws. I don't know how you guys feel about that after what we witnessed here down the stretch, but it's probably going to be ugly basketball, if I had to guess. Tamara says, I love this team. They found a way, but missing free throws gave me a heart attack. A win is a win. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. It's like we said at the Open, when you get to March, and I think I said this on the report card after the Oklahoma game, but there's every win is an A win when you get to this stage of the season. Now, that doesn't mean you played an A game, and Arkansas didn't yesterday and they didn't today. But if you find a way to get through one in the postseason, I mean, look at all these games that have been played. They've been grinds. They've been wars. And it's just a little bit different. The officiating changes. It seems like it's a much more physical game and that they're allowing that. There just feels like a little bit more game pressure because of the stage that you're on. And it's hard to win games like this, no matter who it is that you're playing. And we've learned that firsthand here the last couple of days. So good on them for getting it done. But yes, it felt like some of the anxiety that we felt down the stretch and in overtime maybe was unnecessary, but we felt it anyway, and they got the win. Let's see. We got the student section. Pod says, under shirtless Billy looks weird. I got to be honest with you. I didn't even notice. I noticed Malik Thomas ditched the headband and the braids, the rose. And then he goes out there and he goes for 29. Maybe it's just a thing where you just, like, I'm not trying to be the fashion police here, but maybe you just don't change your look when you're in the middle of the season. I know not everybody's superstitious, but and if we see A-Cuff out there tomorrow and he's got a completely different look, I don't know how we're going to feel about it. But no, with Billy, I can't believe I didn't notice that. Because I have thought in the past, because he wears kind of the baggier t-shirts underneath, I'm like, I wonder, because his weight is kind of up there for the way that he looks. He's so long. And I've always wondered, like, is he jacked? Does he have big shoulders? What does that look like? I don't think I've ever seen his arms. And I'm kind of surprised I didn't notice that. So what are you going to do? Anyway, let's see. We've got Arkansas. He says, phew, Pig Suey. Tomorrow will be interesting for sure. Yeah, it's like a sigh of relief type of deal. And I guess the best type of wins are the ones that you can learn from. Sometimes I feel like, and I understand why you have to do it, but when you play those bye games early in the year against, who are some of the teams like Jackson State or whoever they really beat up on, it's almost like, what are we really getting out of this besides some smiles, a bunch of dunks, and that's going to make the fans happy or whatever? But like, how much better are you getting from it? But even a game like Winthrop that was crazy frustrating and everything, the way that it all played out, Arkansas won the game. So you get to avoid being embarrassed or mad or, screwing up your resume too much or whatever. But you can go back and watch that and learn from it. And they might go back and look at some of that whenever they draw whatever mid-major they're going to get as a 12 seed in the tournament. And, here the last couple of days, it's tournament play. It's do or die type stuff. And I'm sure they're going to talk about, hey, when we're in this situation and we're fouling up 3, this is how we want to do it. Hey, when we just need to not give up a bucket and there's 5 seconds left, we might try to turn the dribbler a little bit, like force that issue. Obviously you'll say, hey, you also need to make free throws and seal the game. That's just it's a mental, physical exhaustion type of thing. I saw somebody, and it's lost in the chat, so whoever it is, I'm giving you credit, was talking about TB not bending his knees up there at the free throw line. And you're right. And so it looked like it was kind of all arms up there. And that's one tired thing, which why wouldn't you be? He played a ton of minutes in this game and a ton of minutes last night. But it's also a mental thing of remembering, like, even though I'm fatigued and my legs are heavy and I'm breathing heavy, I've got to stick to my routine here and focus in and knock down these shots. So tomorrow's going to be very interesting, though, for sure. Trent says, worried about a third game in 3 days for Acuff. Looked tired today, but I'd want to see DJ more tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure. He looked fatigued. He looked a little bit frustrated to me at times today. Ole Miss was being super physical with him, and I think that might have irritated him some. But if you think about how he looked last night with the shots that he was making, it's like everything that came off of his hand, it looked really good. But 7 of 21, that's pretty uncharacteristic for Darius. And then the 5 turnovers really stand out to me. He's been so sure-handed with the basketball, and you never see him get his pocket picked or letting the physicality cause some turnovers for him. And that happened a little bit in this game. But he's also he's a competitor, man. He's a winner. So I would imagine he's going to clean some of that stuff up before tomorrow. And I worry about all these guys in a third game in 3 days. Arkansas's roster is built a little bit different. They're only playing 7. They kept saying on the broadcast, they're down to 7 players. They're down to 7 players. Well, no, they're not. They've got other guys, but they're choosing not to play Sealy right now as an 8th because they don't trust him in these spots. It's not Sealy's fault. It's like Cal says, you haven't been in these situations before, so it's tough to put you in there now. That's why I was yapping so much, throughout the course of the year and down the stretch after Carter got hurt, of just get him in there for a few minutes here and there to get him more and more comfortable. They're not there yet, so it's what they have and what they're going to have to do it with. Vanderbilt's on their third game in 3 days too. Arkansas's had a couple grinders here with these super desperate teams. Vanderbilt has played, I guess, arguably the 2 most physical teams in the league. Like that Tennessee game was an absolute war with them. They just had to play and they kicked their butts, right? But that Florida front court, which is so good. So they're going to be feeling it too. They're going to be tired. Tyler Tanner weighs 160 pounds and he's been in a couple physical games here. So it's going to go both ways, but I feel you. I would want to see DJ more regardless. And I think you will because of the way that they play with those guards and everything. But DJ played, you got a point there. 11 minutes only he played in this game. I think he played 16 yesterday. And it's tough when, Acuff is your guy, obviously. And so when he's healthy, he's going to play a lot. In a game like today, with Malik Thomas, the way he was on fire, and I wouldn't say he was bailing Arkansas out, but he stepped up when they needed somebody to step up. It's like, okay, you can't really take him off the floor. And you had Billy out there for all the defensive purposes. So it was tough to find the minutes for DJ. Against Vanderbilt, I think you can get away with playing a lot more 3 guard. You can go with some more small ball because of Vanderbilt's lack of size in there. I'm guessing, to your point, that we get 22 to 25 minutes maybe out of DJ, maybe more. I don't know. We'll see. What else we have here? Oh, Greg says, I think the past 2 games will help us out a lot going in the NCAA tournament. If we end up being a 5 seed, the 12 seed is going to fight us just like both of these teams have. Yeah. No, that's 100% true. And it looks like if Arkansas is in a 5-12 that they'll get a mid-major type of team. Every now and again, you'll see like a high major program that slips down in that 12 seed range, but all the projections have it as a mid major. But it's going to be the same idea. A capable team that's won a lot of games, that's, hungry for an upset and playing with their season on the line. The only difference will be Arkansas is going to be in that exact same situation to get there. And yeah, hopefully they can draw back from this. And some of the things that they've done the last couple of days, you would want them to continue doing. And some of it, you want to hope that they remember it and go, oh yeah, we don't want to fall back into these habits again. Let's do this, maybe a little bit better this time around. Let's see. We're going to get John back here in just a second. He's getting some clips up for us, which is good. Let's see. The Shandy Man says, guys, I want this SEC championship bad. I think it would be awesome to see, wouldn't it? We have a good matchup too. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm all in on Arkansas getting this done. I mean, it's not going to be easy. How would you feel if Arkansas won the SEC tournament championship and then lost in the round of 64? Probably not great, but this is really cool. And it's when you play these teams throughout the course of the year, like everybody plays everybody. So you're familiar with this team. Sometimes you play them twice. You get into a tournament, you play them a third time. Having those bragging rights and being able to reign supreme at the end of it all, when it's a tournament and everybody's there and everybody's got an equal chance to be the team that emerges from that, I do think it's awesome. And it's just something that, frankly, Arkansas hasn't really done much at all throughout the course of the program's history in this league. So is that the ultimate goal? No, but especially now that you're in it and it's like one game that you have to play anyway, go win that sucker. Like, let's get this thing done and hoist a little bit of hardware. I think it'd be pretty cool. Hey, shout out to our partners over at OZK Insurance. We really appreciate them. They are an independent insurance agency, which means they're not tied down to one carrier. They can shop all of them to find the best price and coverage for you. And now they've paired that with a full service mobile app that's super, super convenient. With the OZK Insurance app, you can see all your policies under one roof, home, auto, whatever you might have. You can pay your bills, you can request roadside assistance, file claims, request policy changes, or even get new quotes, all from the convenience of your phone. If you're tired of being stuck with one carrier or chasing down paperwork, just go to ozkinsurance.com or search OZK Insurance in the App Store or Google Play. It's a local agency with national level options, one powerful app. That's OZK Insurance. All right, let's get John back in here. There he is.
What's up?
All right, John, we got some clips. I don't know if you got to listen to any of those, but anything in particular that we should listen to here?
Yeah, there was a few of them I got a chance to. Of course, as Cal goes, sometimes he'll be asked a question. He goes on for 2 minutes. So it's like some of them may have to, skip through and everything. But I will say that one of the first things that he was asked about Arkansas being back in the SEC tournament title game for the first time since 2017, which, of course, his Kentucky team beat Arkansas during that time. And I thought it was, of course, a very Cal answer. But here's what he had to say about that.
I remember we won the game, but we always had wars back then too. And so, and some will get mad at me, but I think when you're talking about 3 games in 3 days, most important thing is taking it off this tournament and making it about our growth as a team. It's about holding our seed or improving our seed. And so you have something to play for that's bigger than that. And I think over the years, whether I was at UMass, Memphis, or at Kentucky, and now here, it leads them to play better. There's less on their plate. I told them after, I said, if we had lost that game, I would have took all the responsibility. I want them to just play. They're young. I can take it. And but I thought we did stuff when we had to. Darius just played okay until the end. And then all of a sudden he's making every play and every free throw. And but I'm proud of these guys. Going to be a really hard game. I mean, we've gotten better. So is Vandy. Vandy is like, what? Now, Tanner's back to being what he was. He took a couple weeks off, and now all of a sudden he's back to even being better. And now 2 or 3 other guys step up. And you're like, who the heck? When did he, So whatever happened in the first game means nothing in this game. Nothing. Just like what happened to us with Oklahoma or Mississippi the first time. It had no bearing on this game. It's going to be a hard game.
100%. 100% agree with that. And he's right. Tanner's obviously playing really, really well. But I was watching that game today, and they had a couple guys where I was like, who is like the Chandler Bing dude? Like I knew who he was because of obvious reasons, but he's out there dunking on Alex Condon and everything. I'm like, what is this? I was texting you and Andrew. You guys were out at baseball for a while, and Vanderbilt's big men were just out there drilling 3-pointers, and that was a problem for Florida. I was like, oh wow, like they're kind of becoming a sum of all their parts here, and they're looking a lot better. And the thing about Vanderbilt to me is that they I felt like they were computer trickers for the longest, because they get beat 25 by, Arkansas, and they got smacked around at Rupp Arena, and they had a handful of games where they got beat up on pretty good. They lost to Oklahoma before they figured it out at home. And every time I would look up the next day, I'm like, dang, did they move up, in the net or at Ken Palm or whatever? I felt like they weren't getting punished for their crimes. And now I just have to kind of shut up and put my foot in my mouth, sort of, because their last 3 games, John, they won at Tennessee on Senior Day. Then they beat Tennessee on a neutral like 4 days later. Then they beat Florida, and it's like, okay, they're for real. And by the way, they are a 4 seed, and they are locked in that 4 seed spot now because of this.
Yeah, when I saw Vanderbilt, and they were kind of again, like you said, they got off to a hot start, kind of whatever. It's not that I never paid attention to them, but it was just kind of like, hey, it's nice, whatever. And then it's kind of like, okay, you beating a team, especially beating a team like Tennessee twice in less than a week, ain't easy, especially doing it on their Senior Day.
Oh man.
And I don't care what anybody says, bad game or not, you kick the crap out of Florida, you have my attention. Like, you're like, all right, like, okay, this isn't just some random thing. Like, beating the crap out of Florida is something that nobody does, much less way that Florida's been playing. So now that they have that, yeah, it's no longer, again, I feel good about Arkansas. I feel good about Arkansas's chances, but you can't just walk into this being like, all right, Cinderella story's about over. Nope. Vanderbilt's good, man. And they're playing their best basketball, winning 4 in a row. And I mean, yeah, you gotta give them a lot of respect and credit for it too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if let's say Arkansas loses this game tomorrow or whatever, it's, given the circumstances, like, it's not going to change what I think about what this team's capable of doing next week and moving forward in March Madness. But if they win it, I'm not going to lie, it kind of is. It kind of is going to change things a little bit. I'll be a little bit more optimistic even about their potential, because if you can win the SEC tournament, I'm not saying if you win the SEC tournament, you can win the national championship, although there might be some truth to that. But if you can run through this SEC tournament and win that thing, then I feel confident about your ability, even though these last 2 games have been silly, to go get it done in March when it's nut cutting time. So hopefully they get it done.
Yeah. And also real quick, Florida, I was crazy. I was looking at their season this year. It's like the worst loss they suffered was when they lost to Auburn, ironically enough, by 9 points. And they got beat by Vanderbilt by 15. And I don't even think it was that close, Curtis. Like, I mean, I know you were watching. I was like, I think there was a 24-point game at one point. So
yeah,
it's a weird thing. Another clip, though, real quick, I want to play this because you'll probably get a kick out of it, because we're talking about the underdog, Cal playing the underdog.
Yeah.
Somebody asked him about playing the underdog. I love his answer, but it's the ending, because it's the final question, of course, is a great just Cal moment. So I got to play this.
Yeah, that's all stuff. When I'm done doing this, I'll probably look back and have my toes up in the sand somewhere and think, wow, we had a good run. But not now. I mean, I don't have a rear view mirror in my car. I just look out the front window and let's keep going. And so, that's all nice. If you do this long enough, there's good stuff that happens. And I've tried to make sure I stay focused on young people. How about Bam had 83 points?
What the hell?
How do you score 83 points in an NBA game with other NBA players? Crazy. I've had 12 guys score 50 points in that league. And I held them all back if you talk to them. How'd we get on that?
It's you.
You did coach talk.
Anything else for me, folks, so I can go back and watch tape? Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Coach.
I just love that so much.
I really do love this man.
I know.
I
It's
really
like,
do.
just talking about stuff, and he's Bam out of. How about that? It's like, all right, sure. Let's talk about Bam hitting 83 points. So that was great.
I can see how, Kentucky fans had him for 15 years, and I know the success that they expected or whatever, it dropped off some towards the end. I could see how that kind of stuff eventually you could be like worn out from it, but we're not in that phase. You know what I mean? And like he's having success here. It's still new to us. And I guess especially when you're winning, but that kind of stuff just cracks me up, man. What's he even talking about? My toes up in the sand and
like that's just, again, I don't know Cal enough like other people do as far as his press conferences, but to me that just showed he's like, I'm done with this, so I'm just going to throw this remark out there so I can flex one more time. It's like, I've had 15 guys score 50 points in that league. Did you guys know that? Like, thanks. All right, cool. And I held them back if you asked them. So I just, again, great Cal-isms there.
Right.
Feeling himself a little bit. I love it.
I also love that they're cutting my grass at 6:00 on a Saturday. Can you hear it at all?
Oh, I did hear a little bit of something.
Is that what my window here? Yeah. And I was trying to shut my window, but there's like something blocking the deal. And I'm like, dang it. I was doing that during the last video, but I'm actually glad they're here because they need it. When you have a wiener dog and you have tall grass, it gets a little bit weird for them, but we're hanging in there. Anything else clip related we should get to before we hop back into the chat here?
Yeah, I'd probably just play one last one. This is just, again, it's a longer clip, so we don't have to listen to all of it, but someone asked him just what it means for fans and the fans that are, being there at the game. And, it was, you could tell it's from somebody who doesn't talk to Cal very often, but it was just, again, another Cal answer too.
Well, it's more about our state. It's more about the university and the athletic department, where we're bringing everybody together and they're being there. And I've always said, wherever I go, I want 1,000 people to say, without me, Cal couldn't have done that. And you also want the fans to understand they play a part in this, and they then feel a part of it, and that means they are connected. They do adopt the kids. That's my grandson or I love, and every one of these kids is a star in their own right when you do this right, because everybody is going to love somebody different. But let me say this. Terrific young people that I have on this team. And obviously we recruit that. And when you have that kind of character, one, they can be coached. And two, they'll care about one another. It's the only way you build a team. And if they aren't that way and they don't care about anybody else but themselves, you can't build a team. And it's no fun coaching. This has been fun for me. Now, last night was ridiculous. We got to change this so you're not playing at 1 a.m.
It's crazy.
I mean, it was hard on those guys. Really hard on me. So now we got, how many hours later?
Same thing.
19.
So we go 19 hours and we got to play another game. I cannot take a nap today. Why? You can't sleep at night if you take a nap. So that means I got to stay up after getting like 3.5, 4 hours sleep. And that's why I didn't call that timeout, by the way, because I didn't have enough rest to think right. But no, this team deserves all this. I remember last year at this time, at one point we were 0-5, but we were 6-10 and had to win our last 2 to come here and win a game to get in the NCAA tournament. And now we're playing for a seed. Can we improve our seed? I think so. And if we can't, then why are we having this tournament? Especially on Sunday. If one of us does something and doesn't move, I just don't know why we still do this. But I'm not a big tournament guy. Never have been.
Dude, Kentucky fans are going to cut that little part. And you're back, see, loser. So.
Oh man. That is literally a perfect segue back into this, because the next chat we had was from Sean, and he says, if we win tomorrow, do we get the 4 seed? the answer, Sean, is no. And to Cal's point, that seems silly, doesn't it? Because what's happened here is, like we said earlier, it's not Arkansas. They can't control who they played in this tournament. You can only control if you beat them or not. But because they didn't get a Texas A&M and because they didn't get an Alabama, they have not picked up the caliber of wins that Vanderbilt has here at the tournament. Vanderbilt gets Tennessee and then they pop Florida. And it's just, if you just put a side-by-side objective look at it right now, and I'm sorry, I'm a hog at heart, man.
Mm-hmm.
Andy's got the better resume. They are the 4 seed. It is what it is. I know Arkansas's got the blowout win head to head, but if you just really look at everything that they factor in, there's not a huge case to be made for Arkansas there. And the problem is, because you could say, all right, well, Arkansas plays them in the championship game. If they beat them, does that change things? I think maybe it should, and it would if it was me. The brackets are done. The brackets are done. We know that the further along you get into championship week, the less impact those games have on the committee. I've seen Dave Warlock, who I don't know what his role is with the NCAA, but he's been tweeting out everything about where they are in the process, the selection committee. And last night, he said that they've already seeded the top 8 seeds. It's already done. And he said, we'll go back late Saturday night and do another scrub, which is basically like just take one more look at every resume and see if they feel like they need to make any changes. But they're already deep into the process. And they're going to be doing the bracketing, like putting people in their regions and everything tonight, to the point where they do contingency brackets for Championship Sunday. But it's usually like if Dayton wins the A-10 and all of a sudden that's a bid stealer, well, you got to have your bracket that has them in and doesn't have Auburn or whoever your last team is. It's stuff like that. Or if like a number 1 seed is on the line in the Big Ten championship game based on the outcome of that. But it's really, they're not really worried about who gets the top 5 seed and the last 4 seed. So Cal, I think, is right with his line of thinking of, if you can't move up or down based on like your championship game, then why the heck are we even playing this? Which is probably, John, why he kind of takes that stance of we got the bigger picture in mind here with the NCAA tournament, but he doesn't put as much stock into this. I think it sucks, but I don't think Arkansas is going to get a 4 seed, whether they win tomorrow or not.
Yeah, well, see, and that's, which I fully agree with Cal too. And that's, I think, where maybe I personally have not really thought about it in the same landscape that, with Kentucky fans, when they always say that about Cal, it's like, you know what, that does make a lot of sense. Because if you think about most of the time when Kentucky and Cal and all that were in the SEC tournament or winning the SEC tournament or where they got bounced out, it had no real impact on their seeding. Like if they were going into it as a 2 seed, they were going to remain a 2 seed, even if they got bounced out early or even if they won the whole thing. And I'm sure with Cal, it's kind of like, what's the point of this then? What's the point of playing back-to-back games, playing 3 games in a matter of 48 hours if it does nothing for us in the grand picture of getting a better seed, which is 100% true. And it makes a lot of sense of probably why he's a little bit bitter towards the whole process of that. It's like, I'm busting my butt to win this and to get this hardware that everybody cares so much about. And we get it. But yet we kind of, whether it's a negative or we stress ourselves out or, maybe there's an injury that happens, heaven forbid. But why are we doing all of this if literally the most important thing, which happens in a week, it does 0 for us? Like we could beat a team on the road in the SEC regular season. That changes things. But if we win the SEC tournament, if we win 3 games in 3 days, nothing changes. It doesn't make sense. So it's kind of enlightening about that and just saying, all right, that makes a little bit more sense as to why he maybe feels the way he does. And I think it's also kind of like tough because it's not like we have exactly like, oh, right now, Arkansas, you are 100% right now a 4 seed by the tournament committee. It's just by bracketologists. Who knows? Maybe they've been a 4 seed this whole time. Maybe they'll jump up to a 5 seed and then they'll jump up to a 4 seed. I don't know, but it just makes a lot of sense why Cal feels the way he does.
It does. And it's also important to note that the selection committee operates differently than all of these bracketologists who are out there. And some bracketologists do it. They put this stuff together based on their own evaluations. And some bracketologists do it based on what they think the committee is going to do. But it's like every year they seem to value different things a little bit heavier than other stuff. Like last year, like that wins above bubble deal was the new metric that they had. So they really put a lot of value on that when they were placing all the teams. This year, it might be something completely like some years it's KenPom or whatever, or the net, the quad one wins. You just never know where they're going to put the most emphasis on. So like right now at the bracket matrix, which is the average of all of the reputable bracketologists out there, from everything that's been updated so far today, and for the most part, this was before the games were played. If you look at it, Vanderbilt is locked in as a 4 seed almost across the board in 121 brackets there. Arkansas is the second 5th seed behind Texas Tech. They're right neck and neck with Texas Tech there. So maybe today's win, you pass them, but your win wasn't as impressive as what Vanderbilt did against Florida. So they've only solidified their case. You might pass Texas Tech and still be a 5 seed. So you could look at Kansas, who I think Arkansas has got a comparable resume to, but they're higher than Vanderbilt, according to these people who do this. So I think what's going to wind up happening is that Arkansas is probably going to wind up on the 5 line, and that's okay. Because I see a lot of people that are like, what does it matter, a 5 or a 4? You're going to play each other in the second round anyway. It does matter because the 4 seed, you got a better chance of getting a good location to travel to. That's nice. A 4 seed, you play a 13, which is not as good of a team as the 12 seed that you're going to see. Now, once you get on to the other rounds and everything, it's kind of the same. I will say, though, I kind of prefer the 5 seed here because you're most likely going to get matched up with Virginia in the round of 32. If you go up to a 4, you're most likely going to get Wisconsin. I don't want to see Wisconsin, but I'm not scared of Virginia. So if they say a 5, I'm going to be okay with it. I know a lot of people are like, I wish they could drop to a 6. That ain't going to happen. But I think we're going to wind up at a 5.
Well, and to your point, Curtis, I just looked it up this is just the first round. Mm-hmm. This is what the difference is. And the all-time record, at least since 1985, since the expansion of the NCAA tournament, the record of the 4 seed versus the 13 seed, the 4 seed has won the game 79.5% of the time. The 4 seed has won. The 5 versus 12, the 5 seeds only won 64% of the time. You're talking about a 15% difference there in winning percentage from the 4 seed to the 5 seed. Doesn't mean you're going to be guaranteed to win, but to me, I'm like, look, that's math. That's the math. That's the analytics. That's the difference. And then even the 6 seed, the 6 seed's beating the 11 seed only 60% of the time. So, if you're just looking at the trends in history, doesn't mean you can't get upset. But to me, that's why I want a 4 seed, right? Because looking at history, you have close to an 80% chance of winning the 4 as a 4 seed compared to only 64% of a chance winning if you're the 15 seed or the 5 seed.
Some good stats. The stats and research team here at Inside Arkansas is unparalleled, Yes. And I think because we look ahead and it's like, well, you're going to see a 1 seed anyway in the second weekend. We might take for granted getting to the second weekend. Mm-hmm. And those first 2 matchups, man, like nothing is a given there. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this time tomorrow we'll know, which is kind of crazy to think about. This time tomorrow we will already know.
Yes, and I know it's kind of already stressful too. It's like, oh geez, it's like we're gonna not only know the matchups, gonna know the locations, gonna know each and everything possible. So it's like, whew, tomorrow's gonna be a wild one, man. It's gonna be great.
You're gonna be on kayak and Verbo and everything else, trying to make arrangements, man. So
I'm gonna be like my own travel agent, like just booking the whole thing, and hopefully it's a very good place for us to go. Again, we'll do it. We'll go wherever, but I think I said it was like a quarter of the places I'm great with driving. Obviously it was OKC and St. Louis. Mm-hmm. And then like half of the places I'm good with flying, all good, everything. And then there's a quarter of places that I just want zero part of, and it's just going to be a mess. No. So so it's like, surely 6 out of the 8 places, let's get one of those. That's all I'm asking for.
Yes. Yeah, no doubt. While the Hog says, speaking with over 60 years of experience, it's hard work to be a Hog fan. It is hard work.
Brother.
It's different than any other experience out there. I don't care what anybody else from another fan base says. Nothing's ever easy, man. And maybe it makes the like the highs even higher and even sweeter, but they stress you out. Honestly, good on you for being able to do this for 60 years and still be with us. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, to be honest with you.
hopefully you're getting checkups at the doctor for your like blood pressure and everything, man. Because it's like I don't get it. I've always said that like Razorback fans, you know what your kink is, you know what you're into. You're into torture and heartbreak and stress and frustrations and everything. Because that's the only reason you'd be a Hog fan is you're just into that type of thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Washburn Idol, appreciate the super chat, says, don't care, I'll take it. Killed 2 Cinderellas, Bama bounced, Florida got destroyed, and man-child Todd Golden got the belt pulled on him. We're in the championship game for the first time in 9 years. Boo Pig Suey. Yeah, I love all that. Todd Golden, he needed to be humbled a little bit.
Yes,
he needs a nice little round of 32 exit. He's getting a little bit too cocky in there. I don't know if I really noticed that out of him even during their run last year, but this year it's like every game he's I know him and Cal had that back and forth, but he was doing it with Pope the other day. Was whining a bunch of the refs and everything today. I don't know if maybe the celebrity status over there in Gainesville or whatever is getting to that man's head, but it's getting a little bit annoying, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is maybe he's trying to play this game of like, I need something to change to make sure my team doesn't get complacent. So I'm going to change me and be like, I'll take all the heat and get everybody mad at me.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I don't know. That'd be the only thing that would make sense, but I'm with you. It's like, I didn't like hate Todd Golden last year. He didn't annoy me. I was like, yeah, it's great. And then even this year, as time goes on, I haven't had a problem. But then, like you said, just the past few weeks, I'm like, dude, you're a douche canoe. Like, what do you do? Like, why are you doing these things? You're a good team. You don't have to. Even and I hate Kentucky, but when he's out there on the SEC network thing, being like, yeah, but just to remember, the 3 times that we've played Kentucky, they haven't led a single second of the game. It's like, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, what? That's so weird, man.
So weird. Let's see. Ryan says Darius Acuff deserves better than most of these guys as teammates. Only difference from 2025, we have a lottery pick this year. Come on, man. Why would you say that today? I almost feel like, and I don't think it's ever justified to say this, but wouldn't this have been more appropriate yesterday?
Yeah.
Like after Acuff carried the team, he kind of struggled today relative to his standards, and you get 29 out of Malik Thomas. Both of your bigs give you double doubles. Like what? They actually kind of stepped up on a night where he didn't bring his best, and they continue to move forward in a tournament. I feel like it's a little bit misplaced. Like I would have pushed back against this type of comment no matter what, but now I just think it's. Did you mean to send yesterday, or what are we doing here? I don't understand.
Yeah, I'll never understand this guy's takes, but I will say that it's amazing how it's like, dude, you think Darius Acuff deserves a better team than a team that was the 3 seed in the SEC and is going to be playing the SEC tournament title tomorrow? Like he deserves better than that team that he's on. That's pretty good. Okay, sure. Yeah. Whatever you got to say, man.
That's a weird one. And again, like there were things from today, obviously, like we've talked about them, where it's like, okay, can we not, can we stop doing this? Can you make your free throws? Do you have to make things so complicated? But they did win. I don't know, man. This doesn't strike me as a time for the indictment. It's like when it seems like when Trevin has his better games is when you pile on him even more so than when he really struggles. It's just, I don't know. Interesting stuff.
Get it. No.
Mitch's Britches says, I don't need to worry about how I'll meet my end. I'll be watching the Heart Attack Hogs. Whew, pig.
Seriously. Yeah. It's never easy, and it's never going to be easy. And if you think tomorrow's going to be easy, you're kidding yourself. If you think even if you get a 4 seed and you play a 13 seed, that sucks. If you think it's going to be easy, you're mistaken. Just get ready. Like take your pills and, take a shot of whiskey, whatever it takes. It's never going to be easy.
Yeah. Whoever they draw in the first round, I'm expecting like a single digit game.
Yeah,
sure.
No matter what.
A win, but I'm expecting it to be way closer than it needs to be. From Tamara, we appreciate you. She said, we played hard for a full season. Ole Miss only played hard for 4 games at the end of the season. Hogs at least made a final of the SEC tourney. Yeah, maybe Ole Miss had more in the tank because they just now decided to care,
Yeah.
Or maybe because Chris Beard kept getting pissed and benching them all, so they had fresher legs for the tournament. I don't know, but
yeah. If I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm kind of like, not that they're talking about Ole Miss, but I'm kind of pissed about like that. It's like, okay, where was this all year? I get it. Like it was a cool little run, but I'm like, they finished horrible in a conference. So I was like, where was it? I'd be kind of upset.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, Washburn Idol says Billy's got to lose the undershirt that look at the end was tough. What have I missed with this undershirt thing?
I guess I got to do some research. I don't know. Like, did he look like a
Somebody-
scrub?
I don't know. Well, somebody said he wasn't wearing one in the chat earlier, I thought, and I just didn't even realize that. I wasn't paying attention, I don't guess, but I don't know.
I'll do some research and see what I come up with when it comes to the important things like Billy Richmond's undershirt.
Sweat through it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The Shandy Man says wearing an A-cuff jersey, same shorts and socks until the dub. I like it.
Oh, okay. So I said until they lose. I was like, until the dub. Well, they already won. But yes, yeah. Whatever you wore today and yesterday, folks, wear it again.
Keep it on. Yeah, keep it on for sure. JP Sullivan says everyone at work thinks I'm nuts. Might be the screaming at the top of my lungs or throwing my chair like Nolan Richardson across the floor or kicking a trash can and my boot goes flying. But hey, man, still strutting. Yeah, that's a lot of us right now for sure.
Yep. Everyone's like, you're just being so negative. Shut up. This was everybody. Everybody was doing this. Like, just people are cracking me up. Like thinking you're higher and more holier than thou art. Because it's like, I loved every minute of that because that's a win. Shut up.
Like if we do a post game show, we have to talk about the game. It's not like we can just hop on here and be like, hey, Arkansas won. All right, see you guys tomorrow on the Pod at the Palace. Like, no, we have to talk about what happened. And what happened was they blew an 8-point lead in like the last 90 seconds or whatever and missed a bunch of free throws and let a guy go coast to coast near the buzzer on him. And it went to overtime when it shouldn't have, but they won. And so since that's what happened, that's what we've been talking about. I don't know what to tell you.
I know. It's funny, man.
Let's see. Those Band Geek says, well, I'm finally back to a normal heart rate. How likely are we for a repeat of the last Vandy game? Thanks, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Well, we appreciate you for that. I touched on that a little bit earlier. I wouldn't rule anything out. If you've done it once, you can do it again. I don't expect it to happen. I expect tomorrow to be exactly like today and yesterday were, frankly. Very, very close, uncomfortable, unbelievably stressful, and then we'll see which way it ends up when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Well, if Arkansas wins 93-68 again tomorrow, then yeah, I'll be excited, just like they did earlier. But I just
100%.
Don't see that happening in this one.
Yeah. Derek says the refs gave us 5 quick fouls in the second half to make up for the first half. Good God. Most frustrating win, but it's a win. It's a win. Championship. Yes. They did do that. I think it was 3 fouls in like the first minute and then 5 fouls right away. And rightfully so. And here's the deal, though. They were all fouls. They just weren't fouls that were called in the first half of that basketball game. So it is what it is. But you already knew. What were there might have been 5 fouls combined in the first half. And then with the way that happened at the end, I knew right away they're just going to start calling everything in the second half. And they did on Ole Miss. That was brutal, man.
That was terrible. And I cracked up. I even made out the tweet. I'm like, the fact that they've called, it was 5 fouls on Ole Miss in 2.5 minutes. I'm like, all right. Like, what are we doing here? But I'll take it.
Yes. Justin Clough says, survive and advance. Malik righted the ship in the middle of the game. Yes, he gets player of the game. Case closed. Woo damn pig. He did. Yeah. Yeah. It's, Leak he's been good for Arkansas all year, but he gets in those modes where you can tell like that killer instinct, the malicious intent, as he liked to call it. It's like kicked in there, and he just starts operating at a different gear. And he hit that gear in the middle of this game and hit a few big shots in there. I have never, he's very crafty and everything off the dribble. But I've never really looked at Leak this year and gone, man, his first step is crazy. He knows how to get separation. He knows how to get his shot off.
Separation.
Yes. But I don't think of him having like that electric first move there. But that was like the one thing that Jimmy Dykes said today that I agreed with. It's like he's had a little extra. And yesterday I thought he looked kind of slow or heavy-legged out there. But today he completely flipped the script on that. And he was just like way more aggressive, just attack mode downhill. Sometimes he just kind of probes in the lane and you just already know he's going to kind of go to that floater or maybe he's going to pull up. Dude was attacking the rim with some ferocity in there and finishing strong. That was really good to see. Yeah.
I want to see more out of him for that. Cause it's like when he gets into that mode, as you said, he's so much fun to watch anyways, but when he gets in that mode, it's like, dude, he's not saying he's going to do it every time, but he has the ability to just load up a stat sheet and by himself, like go on an 8-0 run easily.
Yes. Washburn Idol says lots of people acting like Vandy's the 96 Bulls and we've already lost because they beat Florida. Please see the January 20th game results. Yeah. This is a what have you done for me lately society sometimes. And it's easy to look at that and feel that way, you know? But like a perfect example with Vanderbilt, they beat Kentucky by like 30 in their first meeting. And then they played them again a few weeks later and they got beat that bad. And it's a weird team, Vanderbilt. Now, the last 3 games, they have looked awesome. But right before that, they were in overtime with this same Ole Miss team that we're just talking about. And then they just gotten punked by Kentucky, and they were kind of struggling in there for a while. So once you get onto this stage, things are entirely different. They're very, very good. But, we would have been far more pessimistic about Arkansas's chances had they drawn Florida than we are Vanderbilt. Like you're looking at this, and I don't know if you're licking your chops, but you're thinking game on, right?
Yeah, no, that's how I am looking at it too. And fun little fact that nobody's going to care about: if Arkansas does beat Vanderbilt tomorrow, it's going to be the most multi-wins they've had against SEC teams ever in the history of the program, for what it's worth. So, because that will be, you've beaten Oklahoma twice, you beat Ole Miss twice, you beat Vanderbilt twice, and on top of that, you also beat, of course, LSU twice and Missouri twice. So, again, it's nice because they always say it's tough to beat a team twice. It's nice to see Arkansas, other than I guess Auburn's the only team they did not beat twice this year, which is weird. But still, it's just nice to know that you're at least not having that happen to where, it's tough to do it. No, you're still taking care of business against teams you've already beaten.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. A few more chats to get into here, folks, and appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here, and the super chats and just everybody who's in here hanging out, honestly. But Derek says Ewan running the floor will get rewarded. He did do some of that. I'm very pleased with the Malik Ewan game today.
I am too.
He was definitely running the floor. Played with a little bit more physicality. He had a couple moments in there on defensively, but like you don't expect him to, or maybe we should, but I don't expect him to go from like 0 resistance on defense last night to every single possession. He's just like a man possessed in there. I thought he was quite a bit better today than he was yesterday on that end. And then with his rebounding and playing physical offensively, and finishing through some contact and running the floor like that. We've been saying it all year, but if you get this version of Malik Ewan, you're a different basketball team. And he looked pretty good in there. And I know a lot of people were kind of piling on Pringle at times, and that's like the popular thing to do. I thought Pringle looked good today. Some of those baskets in there, in the paint and around the rim where he was the guy technically getting scored on, if you go back and watch, several of those were Billy Richmond's fault, where somebody gets beat off the bounce, Pringle has to help over off of his man, and Billy doesn't drop down quick enough. They dump it down into that guy. Pringle has to turn around, head on the swivel, and he's getting finished on. That's yes, technically he's the guy getting scored on, but that's not his fault in those cases. I think that's an important distinction. But yeah, Ewan was good.
Yeah. Also, too, the fact that he had 14 and 13 with 13 rebounds, 9 offensive rebounds, 9.
That's
what I love. Yeah, it's what I love to see. It's what I love to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about this some. Jane Nabors says, Curtis, is there a path to us jumping Kansas for a 4 seed now? It will not take me long to pull this up. And I'll tell you guys the problem here. So let me go to the team sheets. It's pretty close, honestly. If you look at Arkansas, they are ahead of Kansas in the net, like for whatever that's worth. Arkansas 16, Kansas is 21. These metrics, you're going to hear a lot of letters here, but these are all the things that the committee has at their disposal to look at. The KPI, Arkansas is at 18, Kansas is at 9. So they're quite a bit higher there, and that's a notch in Kansas's belt. Like that's the biggest outlier that they have in their favor. Strength of record, Arkansas is at 12, Kansas at 18. So Arkansas has the leg up there. Wins above bubble. We talked about how important that particular thing is. Arkansas is at 17, Kansas is at 13. So they're a little bit higher there. So you're seeing the back and forth here. The BPI from ESPN, Arkansas is 18, Kansas is 20. So the Hogs have that one. So it's like 2 in the notch for Arkansas, 2 for Kansas. The next one, KenPom, Arkansas is 16 and Kansas is 21. So they have the edge there. And they also have the edge at Torvik, 19 to 21. So 4 of the 6 metrics there, Arkansas has the advantage. Well, then you got to look at the records and everything. So Arkansas, they are 7-8 against quad 1. Kansas is 9-9. So they have a couple extra quad 1 wins than Arkansas does. They have 1 extra in quad 1A, like the elite level wins there. So basically what it comes down to is with Arkansas, they've got the advantage in the metrics slightly, but they have it. With Kansas, they have a slightly better resume in terms of the high quality wins. So you could legitimately go either way here. I'm assuming that they're going to side with Kansas because of the quality wins, but I don't know that for sure. We'll see.
Yeah.
Had Arkansas gotten Alabama today and beaten them, I don't think there would really be a conversation, but now there kind of is.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate thing is because, Jack, you have no control over who you play. You don't. So you just got to win the games, and it sucks. But like you said, if you would have beaten Alabama today, and kind of like what Vanderbilt did with Florida today, that's going to help them a lot more than beating 14 seed or 15 seed, whatever they are, 15 seed Ole Miss today. It's just the way it is.
Yes. Yep. Josh Byers says, am I crazy, or does it seem like almost every time the opposing team gets an open look, they drain it, but we don't? It does feel that way. It's really not that way, but when today it felt like every time it was, man, Arkansas is 1 stop away. They just didn't get it. Or they would, but they wouldn't get the rebound. It was kicked out for a 3 or whatever. That's how it felt. And then, obviously with Arkansas today, it was like, just make a free throw and this is over with. And they couldn't do that. I know Acuff had that reload 3 that it just feels like he hits every time he shoots it. That would have been the dagger, and he missed that one today. So there was definitely a little bit of that. I thought that was in play today.
Yeah, I thought so too. But it's just always going to feel that way when you give up as many open looks as what Arkansas seems to give up.
True.
But it's frustrating. I get it.
Razorback stress. Yeah, good one. Says, I'm usually not superstitious, but I was begging the announcers not to say anything else about how good we've been at free throws. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Like I put it on mute. I'm just going to be honest, and it's nothing against, but it's just, God, you could, not saying that's what happened and it was conspiracy and anything, but man, it just felt like they were really wanting Ole Miss to be that other team. Like the SEC's like, we need another team in there. It just was really annoying, but yeah, that was brutal.
Yes, it was.
Is it Jimmy Dykes again tomorrow? Is he's on?
I'm sure. I think we're going to get the Jimmy Dykes, Doug Schall's combo.
Wonderful. Can't wait to experience that.
Maybe we'll get Jimmy Dykes and Pat Adams, and like we just have the all-star crew. Make it about me, guys. So
my favorite. I love that stuff. It's so great.
From our old pal Rufus, he says, a tremendous scrap with the most plucky and stubborn Ole Miss. By contrast, Vanderbilt goes about their business with a calm and deliberate patience that can prove most inconvenient to the unwary. Always bangers from Rufus.
Couldn't have said it better myself right there, man. That's great. You
crushed it. In fact, I might just copy and paste that into the preview script. So thank you for that. Cody James says the stress is fun. Survive in advance.
No, it's not. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's only fun when you win, which you did, but still, it's not fun to stress.
Tell that to my blood pressure.
Yeah.
Bo, he had back-to-backs here. He said potential 26 wins, SEC champion just seems wrong as a 5 seed. I do agree with this. One of my when I was doing the SEC like the game-by-game predictions and everything, and I had Arkansas at 23-5, and I had them at 23 or 13-5 and 23-8 on the season. Like nailed that. And at the time, because at the end of non-conference play, I put that through the simulator that I like to use over at Torvik. I was like, so what seed would Arkansas? They got to be like a 3 seed or something if that happens. And it put them as a 5. And I got this whole minute-long rant after that where I'm like, that's crazy. This computer sucks. It doesn't know what it's talking about. There's no way that an SEC school goes 13-5 and they wind up a 5 seed at the end of the year. That is exactly where we're at. So Torvik was right. I was wrong.
Yeah. And real quick, too, it's crazy because think about it like in the year of 2021 when you were a 3 seed that year.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not no all end all be all, but it's like you finished the season with the SEC tournament 22-6, 13-4 in conference play. You were a 3 seed. And then the next year when you were a 4 seed, you finished 25-8, 13-5 in conference play. And there you were. So, it's just that's what I think is what's weird is like, hey, you're finishing with just as good of a record, and you could potentially win the conference championship, and you're just going to get a 5 seed less than those other years that you had the same record, but went less. And it's hard to wrap the mind around one of those things.
It is. Yes, it really is. Might be Mike says, mark my words, it's a DJ game tomorrow. Let me write that down.
Sure.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
They're going to need other guys who maybe didn't step up today to step up tomorrow. Because can you expect 30 from Malik Thomas again tomorrow? I'm not saying he can't do it, but I don't know if I'm going in there expecting that. This might be a game where all 7 guys who play for you have to give you something if you're going to win it. Wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah. I was going to say, what if both of your freshmen scored 25 or more points and then both of your bigs got a double-double?
Arkansas winning by 20, right?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, totally. That's just craziness, man.
Oh, man. But yeah, DJ is it's easy to say a guy, like if a guy's struggling, you're like, well, they're due. But I think DJ actually is, because the last 3 weeks of the season, like every game, he got better and better and better. In the last week, he played awesome. And he's only played 27 combined minutes in these 2 games, which I think is kind of weird, John.
Mm-hmm.
But that should lend itself against a smaller Vanderbilt team where Arkansas can play. Yeah, they can play him with Leak and Acuff even more than they've been able to so far. He's probably going to be as fresh as anyone who's going to be out there. So hopefully he does bring his A game.
Yeah, you need DJ Wagner to play well. You can get away with him being like, you're just going to play a few minutes to spell. No, you need him to play well, and you need him to get a lot of minutes and be effective, because that's what's going to make you better, Acuff better, Malik better, all your guards better, is if he's playing well.
Mm-hmm. Tamara says, a 5 seed has never won the national championship yet. Stay tuned.
Now. Yes, until now.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I think it's the 1 through 8 seeds. Every one of them has won a national championship except the 5.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
it's a top 25 team.
I know. Those 5-12 matchups, man. It's just crazy. But then again, hey, folks, a 16 never beat a 1, and that happened just a couple of years ago. And it's happened twice now. So
it's true.
Crazy things happen, man.
Did you see that that UMBC is back in?
Oh, they are.
They won their conference tournament or whatever. Yeah.
I know who I'm going to be betting on and putting in my bracket.
Exactly. Yeah. Feed them to Virginia, and then maybe we'll get them in the round of 32. Arkansas says, I have no data to back it up, but it feels like from the 9-minute mark down to the final media timeout, the Hogs are elite, but they struggle to put things away under 4 minutes. I think you just nailed it. It's exactly what happened the last couple of days, right?
Yeah.
And they've done this time after time. I don't know how many times that I've left Bud Walton Arena to get back here for the post-game show. And as I'm driving, I'm listening on the radio to the car or whatever, Arkansas extends its lead out. Then I stay in my car until the under 4 timeout. And then I come in and I set up and I open up my computer and pull up the stream. And then it starts. And all of a sudden, Arkansas gives up like an 8-0 run right away.
Yep.
It seems like that happens a lot. It does.
It's tale as old as time, just like clockwork. Just finish the team, man. And you had a big lead. Doesn't matter. It evaporates quickly. So just finish the teams, man. That's all I ask.
Yes. From Phil, he says, I agree with Shark. Quinn 2, SEC tourney is title. I think I might have missed the part of the conversation that we're Shark Quinn 2, SEC tourney is title. I don't know.
I guess he's saying like it's cool because you get to hang a banner and trophy because you win it. I guess
100%. Yeah, 100%. I want that.
Real quick, just breaking news, Curtis.
Yeah.
Kind of random, but shout out to the University of Arkansas for sweeping the Indy and the SEC and NCAA. They won a national championship in track.
Let's go.
So just wanted to throw that out there.
Play some celebration music.
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything. So we're just gonna not do that. So I wish I had some cool music to play. I was trying to think. I was like, what can I do here? And then it's like, no, because all the other stuff is sad and depressing. So we'll just give them a shout out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hope they get this, man. I really do. Here's the good thing. No matter how this goes tomorrow, but particularly if it doesn't go well, we will have forgotten about it like an hour later because we'll just get into the selection show and then none of that matters anymore. But if they win, it's going to be kind of cool because you already know they'll have, the cameras. They send them to a bunch of the different teams, and it'll be Arkansas still in Nashville, by the way. So there's going to be no party for us to go to, but they'll still be in Nashville, probably at their team hotel, like in a banquet area or whatever. And they'll have the trophy, like Billy's going to be sitting there with the trophy in his hands, and Cal's going to have the net around his neck, and then they'll get announces the SEC tournament champion, Arkansas Razorbacks, the 5 seed, headed to Portland to fate, so.
Gross. Yeah. I know I'm going to be depressed. That's the biggest L Arkansas is going to take tomorrow is I'm going to go to Portland. Like it's going to suck.
You are right. You are right. Washburn Idol is pouring one out for Andrew. Poor Andrew. What he was, I'm not going to repeat what he texted us earlier.
Yeah.
But he's a little bit down bad with the situation over there, but he is happy to make the sacrifice for the Hogs to get into the SEC tournament title game. Should I even ask for a baseball update?
Well, it's tied at 3.
Tied at 3 now? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Arkansas has only got 1 out, but yeah. So I'm sure this will go perfectly fine.
Yeah. Have they already had their their excitement for the weekend? I don't know.
Hope not.
Hope they get it done. They usually split these double headers. So
yeah. Well, hey, if Arkansas wins that, softball won today against Alabama. I mean, it could be a woo pig day even though Arkansas lost the first game of the doubleheader. If they win the series today, it'll be a great woo pig weekend.
There we go. Last one here from Mr. Buckets says, I think I may know the answer, but where quad 1 and 1A wins are concerned, will Vandy be considered the home team tomorrow, or will it be neutral? It'll be neutral. Yeah. Arkansas should be wearing the whites because they're the higher seeded team, but any tournament game like that, it's on a neutral floor. So yeah. It'll be a quad 1A for sure, which Vanderbilt's up there now to where it would be, even if it was a game at Bud Walton Arena, but yeah, it's Q1A. Yeah. And that's going to be the thing that I think irritates, if Arkansas wins that game and they add another one of those elite wins to the resume, all of a sudden things look so much different. And like you look at it and be like, why are they not ahead of Kansas? What the hell? And it's going to frustrate people, but title games don't matter. It's a lot of work that goes into putting that bracket together, and they're not going to change it all in a couple hours just because of one game. And I don't think it's fair, and neither does John Calipari.
No. Yeah. As long as they wear if they win the SEC title tomorrow, as long as they're wearing their throwback 94 uniforms from the whites. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel good about it. So, yeah. But yeah, it's also basketball is the only thing where a home court or whatever doesn't matter in postseason play. It's just a matter of what color jersey you wear pretty much. So,
yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, John. Well, any parting wisdom from you before we get out of here and get geared up for tomorrow?
Well, folks, and just enjoy the game from today. I know it was stressful, but enjoy it. Hopefully, Razorback baseball takes care of business and wins the series here in the next few innings. And just prepare tomorrow. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun all the time. You're going to get pissed. You're going to get mad. There's going to be a player that you're going to say a lot of nasty things about under your breath or out loud. It's going to happen. But if you get the win, let's all just celebrate an SEC tournament title. But just prepare. It's not going to be fun all the time tomorrow, but hopefully it ends up being a great result. So we'll see.
I like it. Very, very excited about this. Arkansas playing for an SEC tournament title, man. That's pretty cool. So we're going to enjoy it. We'll have all the coverage for you. Programming note, I am going to get my selfie stick and I'm going to do the report card like right now, just walking around my neighborhood. I got to get out of the house. I got to walk it off a little bit. So I'm going to do that and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I will upload that this evening. That way it's out. And then I'm going to get this Vanderbilt prep ready and I'll have a preview out as soon as it's done. It might be 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not going to wait until the normal time slot because I got to give it more than like 3 hours to breathe since they play so early. But be on the lookout for a couple Pot the Palace episodes hitting your feed here pretty soon. And I appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. If you're listening and you're not subscribed to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel, just do that for us real quick before you get out of here. And then find us wherever you find your podcast, Apple, Spotify, or anywhere that you listen. So for John Nabors, it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Pot the Palace and Inside Arkansas. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the title game tomorrow. We'll see you afterwards.